Alright, Bomber fans, a little Saturday video today. We all know the big news that came out yesterday, but work meant I had to discuss and record today, so sorry I am a tad late. As we all know, Dyson Heppell is no longer our captain. The 6th longest serving Essendon captain decided to step down and focus on his game and help mentor the next up and coming captain, which I will discuss shortly. But before I get on to our next leader and who we all know it will be, I want to just talk about Heppell because the guy has copped a lot of flack from supporters, especially in recent times, and rightfully so. His form has warranted some questions from fans and staff alike, but you got to sit back now especially and look at how important this guy has been to the history of our club. Heppell took over as captain after Job Watson at the conclusion of the 34 banned players years off, as the club was still recovering from the toughest period in our history. Both Watson and Heppell were nothing short of incredible for our club during that time. They navigated the press, the on-field pressure, and their own form during this period, which is extraordinary. These two have cemented themselves as legends of the club in my eyes, despite no silverware coming their way. I haven't been alive long enough to see an Essendon premiership. In fact, I've only seen a couple of club captains, but Heppell has to be up there in my eyes as one of our great ones, solely because of the task he's had to deal with. The club was a mess when he took over, but Heppell's love for the club and loyalty to the club shined through, and the great thing is he isn't even going anywhere. He is still playing to help mentor our probable captain, Zach Merritt. Merritt has been the front runner to take over the whole way through. That's if Heppell was to lose the gig. So it's a no-brainer decision, kind of highlighted by the Essendon team photo formation. I know reading off of a photo lineup isn't exactly groundbreaking, but you do usually see captains lined up next to the coach, and Brad Scott was sitting right in between Dyson Heppell and Zach Merritt. Merritt is clearly going to bring a different type of leadership to the club. Heppell seems a bit more relaxed and composed, whereas Merritt is a bit more frantic and more professionally motivated. He conducts himself in a way you don't usually see captains. Well, at least he used to, I would say. He was so focused on his own game, but in the last 2 seasons since he was left out of the leadership group, he has been great at helping those around him. I think his blend of captaincy with Heppell's will be really nice in a year or two's time. He will have to find that balance between the two styles, and who better to help him than Dyson Heppell, who will still be at the club at least for the end of this season. Back to the team photo, which has kind of been talked about way too much in this video. Sitting either side of Heppell and Merritt are 2 other leadership group and possible captain smokies, Andy McGrath and Dylan Shiel, who are both putting in the hard yards this pre-season, especially Shiel, who has supposedly improved his leadership by a fair distance as well. Others have been quick to highlight Mason Redmond, Sam Draper, Peter Wright, Jaden Laverty, and Carl Langford, but these aren't instant captaincy options. They might make the leadership group, but would be surprising to see anyone I just mentioned lead the club. An option has been Andy McGrath and Zach Merritt as co-captains, but we will probably see a lone captain. Brad Scott teased this idea, saying he is more of a traditionalist, but also told the press not to rule anything out, so you never really do know. People have been wondering when we will see a final decision. I assume very early next week, before the teams for the unofficial Gold Coast trial game are announced. I doubt Scott will use that match as a test for the final decision like some have pondered, because after all, this decision is voted upon by the entire playing group. In fact, Dyson Heppell's resignation speech actually gave us a little hint when Scott took over to say a few words, and mentioned in passing about the feedback Heppell received, which historically comes with the vote for the captaincy and leadership group. So we may already have a decision, and are waiting till next week to allow us fans to spend a bit more time praising Heps until it is made official who our next captain is. Whatever the case, we will probably see our 41st leader announced next Monday or Tuesday before we fly over to Gold Coast, but that is that. Just a quick little update regarding the skipper of the Essendon Football Club. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to stay up to date with everything Essendon.